Welcome back to my channel. In my previous video on this series, we learned how to create an API that will create, update, fetch, and delete a category. We are going to learn how to deal with DB relationships in Laravel API in this tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to create subcategories for our categories, then create a relationship between the subcategory model and the category model. So let's sit back and relax as we're going to have a lot of fun. If you find this video to be educative and informative, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Let's open our terminal and create the subcategory model with its migration file. And to create the model with its migration, let's open our code editor and edit the migration file, and add the columns we want to migrate. We're going to add category ID, which we will use as the foreign key in subcategory table. I will want, if we delete a category, all the subcategories that are related to that category should be deleted as well. For that to happen, we're going to add onDelete method to the column and pass the Cascade parameter to it. For the subcategory name. Lastly, we're going to add the soft delete column. Next, we're going to add the soft delete trait to the subcategory model, to enable the soft delete functionality to work on the subcategory table. And create a subcategory controller with Laravel basic API methods. After creating the controller, let's open the controller, and write a code inside the store method of the controller, that will create a subcategory. As we normally do, we will first validate the input fields, before saving the record. After writing the store method code, let's open Postman to test our endpoint. Let's create an endpoint for creating a subcategory on the Postman. The endpoint in our admin API route, so let's quickly add that to the route. We didn't start our development server, let's quickly go back to our terminal and start the server. After starting the server, let's go back to Postman and test the endpoint again. And add form data fields. We will try adding a subcategory with a category ID that doesn't exist in our database, and see what happens. We forgot to run the migration, let's open back our terminal and run migration. We won't be able to add a subcategory with a category ID that doesn't exist in our database. This was made possible with the category ID which we added as a foreign key in the subcategory migration file. Let's try adding a subcategory with a category ID that exists in the database. We have successfully created a subcategory. After writing the code that stores subcategories, next, we're going to write a code inside the index method of our controller that will fetch all the subcategories created with pagination, in descending order. After writing the code, let's head back to Postman to test the endpoint. subcategories, but category was not fetched with it. Let's go back to our code and use the Laravel with method to include a category for each subcategory. After adding that, let's open the subcategory model and create a relationship. Here, we would say, subcategories belong to a category. Meaning, that each subcategory created must have a category it belongs to. We will as well do the same for the category model, but here, we would say a category has many subcategories, meaning, one category can have more than one subcategories, and a category can be created without a subcategory. After setting up our relationship, let's test again on Postman. As you can see now, a category has been included in each subcategory record. To see if everything is working fine, let's create more categories and subcategories. Next, we are going to write a code inside the show method of our controller that will fetch a single subcategory with its related category. First, we will query the database with the subcategory ID, then use the if statement to check if the record exists. If it exists, we return the record, else we will return a message telling the user that the record was not found in the database. After writing the code, let's also test it on Postman. The related category to the subcategory fetched. Let's go back to our code and add it. Let's go back to Postman and test it again. Okay, the category is included. Next, we will write a code inside the update method of our controller that will update a subcategory record. This time, we are not writing the code from scratch. Let's copy our store method code and use it inside the update method. Then modify the create method to the update method. Before updating the record, we have to tell Laravel which record to update, so we're going to use the find method to get the record we want to update first, before calling the update method. After writing the code, let's head back to our postman and test the code. Going to write a code to delete a subcategory. We already have a code to delete records in the category controller. Let's quickly copy it and use it. After writing the delete method code, let's test it on Postman. Let's have a quick fix. The code in the update method won't work efficiently, because it will throw an error when a record isn't found for updating. To fix this, we're going to first check if the record exists before updating the record. After updating the record, we will return the record that was updated back to the user. Before we end this section, let's try out one more thing. Remember when we were editing the subcategory migration file, we added a cascade on delete to the subcategory foreign key, which is category ID. What this means is that when we delete a category, all the subcategories related to that category should be deleted as well. So, let's test if this is working as expected by deleting a category. We have deleted a category. Let's check our database to see if the category was deleted alongside the subcategories. Remember, we're using soft delete, and the only way we're going to know if any record was deleted is only if there is a timestamp in the deleted column. As you can see, the category was deleted, but the subcategory which is related to the category was not deleted. The reason why the subcategory was not deleted is that on-delete cascade work on the SQL level of your application, and the SQL level knows nothing about soft deletes. On-delete trigger at SQL level will fire only on the actual record, removing the record from the table. If you want to use soft deletes and make cascade deleting work, you have to subscribe to the model deleting event. Cascade soft deleting on PHP level of application will take some time, so if there are lots of records to delete, your users will wait for a response for some time, or in worst case, processing of the request will overlap max execution time, and your web server will kill a process. If you have about 100 records to delete per time, there is no problem to use events and listeners. If you have about 100,000 records to delete, you should use queues. In this tutorial, we're going to use event and listener. So let's add an event listener that will delete related subcategories of a category that is deleted. And we're going to write this code inside the category model. After writing the code, let's go back to Postman and test the code, to see if everything is working as expected. Perfectly well now. This video has come to an end. Please, if you find this tutorial helpful and informative, don't forget to like, share, subscribe and ring the notification bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.